afternoon. I'm Rose from Grandma Rose's Open Pantry. And thank you for joining us today. Today's Wednesday. It's Roy's day to be in front of the camera. I'm going to be behind the camera. And as y'all know, he's been doing sessions on the difference in low carb load, glycemic load, glycemic carb load, just regular carbs. He's going to be doing that again today, and he'll be doing it for a little while now because so many of y'all have asked him to do that because you want to understand the difference. And y'all know I cook low carb, gluten-free, low carb load, less sugar, no sugar. I try to hit all to check all the boxes. So he's going to be in these next sessions trying to educate y'all more on our style of living, our style of eating and how I cook. And we love food. We love good food. If food is not good, we're not going to eat it. We love healthy, good food. So I'm going to put him in front of the camera now, and I'm going to let him start his session for today. So love y'all, and we'll be back in just a few minutes.
Okay, one of the first things I want to show you that really may give you some instant information is what I call the glycemic eye opener chart. I also refer to it as the rocket fireworks chart and the weight gain chart, because a lot of things happen when certain kinds of carbs go through your stomach into your small intestines, the first 2 feet of your small intestines. First thing you have to understand about this is carbs are not equal. All carbs are not equal. Carbs even in the same food are not necessarily equal, but certainly carbs across the spectrum, especially from starches down to turnips or collards, some kind of green. There is a 10 carbs over here versus 10 carbs over here, totally different threat to your body. In fact, so let's just, so carbs are not equal. Some people would say carbs are carbs. I'm going to say carbs are not carbs. If they don't act like carbs. And we're going to discuss some of that now. But so let me sort of introduce you to why carbs are not equal. First of all, there are fast carbs that demand instant insulin if you're not going to pass out. If there's very many of them uploaded into your body through something you eat and it goes to the first 2 feet of your small intestines, you can pass out real quickly if you don't have insulin to offset that, and it has to be pretty quickly also. So let's just erase this a little bit and talk about the carbs. First, let me put this over here. The first 2 feet of your small intestines this is where you get the biggest hit off of high carb load food, especially starches and sugary drinks and juices. So keeping that in mind, where is the next most dangerous carbs to your insulin and to your weight gain? The next group of carbs are digested. This is the second group of carbs. They're not as easily digested, but they pretty well digest pretty quickly, and I'm going to show you that. But the second group of carbs digest in the rest of the small intestines. So the first 2 groups of carbs, the ones that hit you the most and hurt your body the most and cause the most weight gain, are those that will digest very easily in and go into your bloodstream in the first 2 feet. Second 2 feet, they take a little bit longer, but it's still very fast and it still spikes your sugar. So then there's a third group of carbs that digest in the large intestine. Now this will help you understand why you can gain weight regardless of whether you're eating a bunch of food or not, based on the selection of foods that you eat. So it's not just because you overeat. You can just be eating lots of the wrong carbs and not understand what's happening to your weight because you look at your plate and say, I don't eat much. Okay, so these are what we call fast carbs. I call them instant carbs. You eat it like a piece of bread. You eat a piece of bread, your stomach tears it apart, feeds it into your intestines, it turns to sugar like that. And so you get a big charge of carbs immediately because that's fast carbs. Then medium carbs are the ones that require a little bit more digestive time in your small intestines, but they still will be digested by the small intestines relatively quickly. So within that first hour, hour and a half, these are going to be in your bloodstream and it's going to keep your spike up. So this does the spike that I'm going to show you. These keep the spike up and keep your insulin up. And now the third one, the third group digested in the large intestines are what we call slow carbs or resistant carbs. Resistant starches, resistant carbs. They're harder to break apart by your digestive system. Takes a little more time, several hours, and if these are what you're feeding off of, your blood sugar stays level. It's when you put some more of this in there that all of a sudden your blood sugar and your, what I call, excuse this if it offends you, but my fat factory. And I've gained a lot of weight and lost a lot of weight during the 78 years I've been here. So we can refer to it as a weight gain factory. You turn that on at the same time that you ingest these fat and these medium carbs into your system, into your small intestines. It goes off if you're feeding on these. You're not putting on weight if you're feeding on these slow carbs like you are if you're feeding on the fast carbs. Now, what kinds of carbs are these? Well, I call them fast carbs. They're sugars and sugary drinks and juices. And these are and concentrated juices, even if it's pure fruit juice, is in this category because you've taken the pulp out, you put 5 oranges in a small area like that with all the sugar from 5 oranges, which is 5 times the carbs that's in an orange by itself. So that makes it a bad drink. You may be familiar with the glycemic index. The glycemic index measures how fast the glycemic charge of sugar reaches your blood vessels. For example, it's like a rocket. If you eat, it's measuring how fast the rocket goes up. If you eat, let's suppose you drink 8 ounces of pure grape juice with all the sugar that's in that grape juice at 0 time right here. And then we're going to go to 30 minutes and an hour today. We're not going to go too deep in this, but I want to begin to show it to you. All right, so you drink this right here. Now, the rocket goes off and eventually starts coming back down. Now this is the high glycemic explosion line right here. What happens here is there's 2 things involved: speed just like with a regular rocket. Speed and carbs. Why carbs? That's the powder that's in the rocket explosion that you just lit to send it up. Now the glycemic index measures how fast this rocket goes up in time. You see that basically immediately upon drinking that juice,
Step to the side a little bit. Yeah.
immediately upon drinking that juice, it shoots almost straight up, but it's not, because it takes a few minutes, 15, 20, 30 minutes. And then right about along here, this thing explodes. And all these carbs, by the end, by the time it gets here, are released in your bloodstream, much like it exploded all at one time, like the rocket, the fireworks rocket that you fired off. So now, just as it does in the sky, this begins to burn out and start down. Now, this is your fast carbs right here. The ones that are digested and pushed into your blood in the first 2 feet of your intestines. If you don't eat them, that doesn't happen. The food goes on further. But if you ate that like that juice drink, here it goes. It goes up here, explodes, and then within an hour, hour and a half, it starts back down. Well, this was your fast carbs. Here are your medium carbs in the rest of the small intestines, beginning to suck the last bit of sugar out of this rocket. And then you come on down, and you would eventually, if there's any slow carbs in that drink, then you would get back down into a lower level. I want to tell you for today, and then I'm going to quit. 2 things happen here, right here, where this high glycemic line is. Your blood sugar explodes. Now, your body senses that this explosion has taken place and fills your bloodstream with blood sugar. If you don't do something, you can pass out and die. That's the message that your pancreas sends out, because your pancreas senses this explosion, sees that blood in the sugar, and this is a defensive mechanism. It's perfectly normal for your insulin to say, get rid of some of that sugar. Now, how does it do that? It tells the body to turn on weight gain. So this switch, the blood sugar explodes, switches on the weight gain response in your body. I call it the fat factory switch. No offense to anybody. But when this happens, then your body is going to take the sugar in this charge up here, this high glycemic charge, and some of it as it comes on down, and it's going to create fat out of it and store it right where you don't want it, here and some other places. And this is what happens. Now this gets worse, but you'll have to wait till next week when I can show you more of this eye-opener chart. God bless you.